Good morning, everyone. It's 10 a.m., so we'll get this meeting started. This meeting of the Committee of Adjustment is being called to hear applications under the Planning Act for minor variance and/or consent. This is a statutory public meeting. Anyone having an interest in any of these applications may make oral or written submission for the committee's consideration. The committee will render a verbal decision this date, and the agent or applicant will receive a copy of the committee's decision in writing via email 10 days after the meeting. Meeting procedure. So please note each application will be addressed in the following manner. The planning coordinator will introduce the application and staff recommendation outlining the report, which was posted on the City of Kitchener website the Friday prior to today's meeting. The chair will remind the committee of late written submissions circulated prior to the meeting that should be taken into consideration. The chair will confirm with the agent or applicant if they reviewed the staff report and whether they're in support of the staff recommendation. The chair will invite parties in opposition to make an oral submission. Parties providing oral submission should endeavor to keep their comments succinct and avoid comments already stated by other parties. The committee members may ask questions of the parties in opposition, and then the chair will invite the agent applicant to make comments if they have any. The agent applicant can ask questions regarding the staff recommendation. The committee members may ask questions of the agent applicant. The committee members can also ask questions of city staff. And then the committee members will pass a motion to approve, reject, or defer the application. Next, look at our minutes from our last meeting. If I can call for a recommendation to approve the minutes from our last meeting. So I'll need someone to make the motion and a seconder for Member Bob. Member Marco, first and a second on the minutes. All those in favor to approve the minutes from last meeting? Unanimous. That's carried. Next on the agenda, I'm just calling for anyone to, if they have any disclosures as far as a pecuniary interest or any conflict of interest in the agenda. Anyone have any conflicts? Seeing none. So next we move into the meat and potatoes here of our agenda. We have unfinished business. It's going back to this applicant, A 2024-075, 96 Wood Street. And we've had a number of written submissions that we received here. I think there were 26 that we received, letters that we had in our package, as well as late written submissions as well that were all read by the committee. I can assure you of that. And we have a number of these here, so thank you for that. And I can just see a few people here in the gallery as well. So if I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application as well as the staff recommendation, please.
Thank you, Chair. This is a deferred item, so I'll provide a little bit of background. There are 4 minor variances before you this morning to permit a lot area of 393 square meters instead of the required 450, to permit a front yard setback of 3.8 meters instead of the required 4.5, to permit an exterior side yard of 2.5 instead of the required 4.5, and to permit a building height of 12 meters instead of the maximum permitted 11 meters. These variances are to facilitate an 8-unit multiple dwelling on the property at 96 Wood Street. So the applications were originally before you September 17th, 2024. They were deferred to the December 10th agenda or earlier so that the owner applicant could prepare a tree protection enhancement plan to demonstrate full protection of city-owned street trees and that the trees would be protected to city standards. The requested variances were dependent on yard setbacks, which would have impacts to the trees. The owner was also required to submit and obtain approval of a planning justification report to demonstrate how the proposal would meet the official plan policies for the Gildner Green Neighborhood Cultural Heritage Landscape. And that was in accordance with 2 policies of our official plan. So staff did provide the applicant a terms of reference to help prepare those reports and studies on October 4th, anticipating that they would come back to the committee on December the 10th. However, on December the 10th, the reports were not prepared, and so the committee granted a further deferral to the meeting of today so that those reports could be prepared. Staff did receive some information, not the entirety of the information that we were hoping for that would be contained in the terms of reference that was prepared on October 4th. So we reviewed the variances in light of the four tests of the information that was received. I can advise that the report details analysis of the four tests in great detail, and we are recommending refusal of all four of the minor variances as they do not meet the four tests of the Planning Act.
Thank you for that. If I can invite the applicant or the agent to come forward to the microphone, if you can introduce yourself and let us know if you reviewed it and if you're in support of the staff recommendation, please.
Good morning, Natalie Ryan from Masrio Architects, part of the applicant team. Just wanted to make a couple of clarifications regarding the application because we actually submitted a fulsome submission back in February. The planning justification report, the tree management plan, arborist report, and a heritage statement. We did receive further comments from staff in the form of emails at that time and worked to address all of those comments in the months following up until the May submission. We didn't address, I guess, all of the conditions in the terms of reference, but no, we believe that we addressed the comments that were given to us after the February submission. So I guess I'm just at a bit of a loss, having felt that we addressed those.
I don't mean to cut you off, Natalie, but if you just say if you reviewed the staff report and if you're in support of it, obviously I guess not, because you have an opportunity then to speak afterwards after the opposition, and then you can
Sorry about
mention these things if that's okay.
Yeah,
I don't mean
sorry.
to cut you off or be rude.
No, no.
So you reviewed the staff report, and then
Yes.
I guess you're not in support of it, correct?
No.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd now like to invite any parties that are in opposition to this application to make oral submissions. So you can just go to the microphone over there to my left, your right. I just kindly ask that you keep things short and sweet and not repeat anything that's already been stated in the letters. Thank you. So if you can introduce yourself as well, please. Thank you.
Hello? Okay. My name is Michele Greco. I live on Wood Street for over 25 years. I'm here today to strongly oppose the 8-unit development at 96 Wood Street. It just doesn't belong in our neighborhood. The neighborhood is mostly single-family homes. This 8-unit building is way too big for the size of lot. We already have plenty of multi-residential housing in our neighborhood. Most of it is built a long time ago and was properly planned at the time. Cramming too much into a little space right in the middle of a low-density block just doesn't belong. It sets a bad example. If it gets approved, more investors will try to do the same. They'll buy homes, knock them down, replace them with rental buildings. Families won't live here anymore. The area will go downhill fast. Parking is already a problem. There's already enough street parking on Wood Street. There are already not enough street parking on Wood Street. The building would bring even more cars and nowhere for them to go, given the no parking rule for this development. Concerns about the property owner. The owner couldn't even maintain the property as a single-family home. They were fined this winter for not clearing the snow from the sidewalk. This is on record. If they can't take care of 1 unit, how can they be trusted to manage 8, 6, or even 4 units? This isn't about smart development. The project isn't about solving a housing crisis. It's about profit, nothing else. And it's the people living here who will be left with the mess. My final message is I'm asking you to reject this proposal. We already have a good mix of housing, and we don't need an overbuilt rental blocks on small residential lots. This development will hurt the neighborhood, not help it. And once you approve something like this, you can't undo it. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any questions from the committee for the opposition? None? Is anyone else speaking in opposition on this application? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is William Rogers. I am a resident on the corner of York Street and Wood Street. I've been a resident of this neighborhood for nearly 20 years and consider this my official submission in strong opposition of this proposed 8-unit development. This is not an isolated concern, of course. We've received, or you've received up to 55 letters, I believe, at this point. I used to own an engineering company, a green energy company, and if we received even 1 or 2 opposition letters to an engineering project that was in benefit of a community, the project would stop. Reiterating some of the comments that Michaeli made, we do acknowledge the project's intent to address housing shortages by providing purpose-built rentals along the transit route. We believe this specific proposal is not compatible with the character of our neighborhood, the infrastructure or planning intent of the neighborhood itself. Our concerns include the increased parking and traffic. Again, I know Michaeli did speak about that. Wood Street is already congested at certain points during the week and the day because of local business overflow and parking concerns there. Excessive height and sight lines. The surrounding homes will be overshadowed by something this large. A couple of the people who live directly on or beside the lot will be immediately affected by sunshine, whizzing machines and air conditioning units and things like that that are butting up against their property lines. Waste management has become a concern as well. We already have landlords in the community that neglect the need for waste management systems, and we have a concern regarding the waste management system of an 8-unit complex. Looking through the documentation, there doesn't seem to be a plan to mitigate the impact of that waste management system. We are concerned as well that we're setting a precedent in the community by approving a project like this. We don't want large multiplex units coming in and disturbing the aesthetic of the neighborhood itself. Again, we recognize that this may be, in theory, addressing the housing shortage, but as Michaeli said, seems to be a little bit more dramatic than, adding a few more units to an already existing community. It seems a little bit, again, dramatic and impactful to the people in the surrounding neighborhood. To the point of supporting local employment, while the construction phase may create temporary jobs, these short-term economic gains should not override the long-term impacts of the neighborhood and the quality of life that we have already. So we also realize that promoting transit-supportive development is important. The site lies next or close to LRT lines. But again, we can't assume that the people moving into this complex will have or be living without a car. I think in today's society, especially Kitchener-Waterloo area, the majority of residents do have at least 1 or 2 cars. And again, that goes directly impacting the parking concerns. In closing, we urge the city, the council, the committee, to carefully weigh the community input and uphold the values of thoughtful, inclusive planning. The goals of intensification and heritage preservation are not mutually exclusive, but must be managed with care. This development, as proposed, is not the right fit for our neighborhood. I'm here speaking on behalf of myself, my wife Jen, Michaeli, Tammy and family, Carl and Amanda, Ian, Andrea, Kirsty, PJ, Sebastian, Tanya, Nate, Kim, Jared, Kim, Wendy, Ed, Donna, the other Donna, Mackenzie, Thomas, Betty, who's here today, Carl, Allison, David, Kristen, Howard, Denise, their daughter and son-in-law who are about to move into this community because it is a community. Chris and Steph and Nick and Sarah, Andrea and Jamie, who are right here as well. Let's keep this community a community and preserve what we already have and we've been working for. Enhance it the right way through thoughtful planning and allow us to continue working together and building relationships. The list of names that I have here is a small portion of the people that live in this community and talk to each other every single day. Help maintain each other's yard, pick up trash when it's been blown around, shovel each other's driveways, help. That's what we've been able to establish, and we believe that we can continue doing this as we move forward. Leave the home as it is. Let a new family move in there and become a part of the community that we've been working towards. Final statement is, I've owned 2 houses on the same street. When I was a kid growing up, I thought, why would anyone move down the street from the house they already live in? And now I know exactly why. Because when you're a part of a neighborhood and a community that you love, you don't want to leave it. You just want to move down the street. And that's what we did. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for that. Any questions from this member of opposition? Yep, no questions. Thank you. Now, sorry to cut you off before, Natalie, but if you have, I invite you now to make any comments regarding this application or things from the staff report.
Sorry, no specific comments to the staff report, really. Just the clarifications I made earlier about the submission that was made and the expectation that it was a fully addressing the issues that were previously brought up. Thank you.
Thank you. Do my committee members have any questions for the agent? Seeing none. Members, do you have any questions for city staff? Seeing none, so then I'll look for someone to make a motion. Member Bob?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This has been to the committee 3 times. It's been either deferred or refused. The recommendation was to refuse. I think that's more than enough time to sit down with staff. Our staff are very good. They know their professions. And after 3 times, Mr. Chair, I am in not support of this application, so I am going to move the staff report that this be refused.
Okay, thank you. So Member Bob made the motion to refuse. Seconder? Member Marco? So floor is open for debate. Member Marco, thank you.
Yeah, I just have some general comments. I've seen, this is not the first application of this type that we've seen, and I've seen a lot of opposition to intensification efforts. I've also seen a lot of opposition to building outwards, and so I think just some food for thought. I think we'll have to decide as a city. We have to pick one, whether it's intensifying or building outwards. But I don't think this application really fits our guidelines at the moment. That's it.
I also think that beyond what the opposition has brought forth, even in the application from city staff, you could see there's a lot of more implications of things that you would have to comply with beyond even what's set forth in the application. So you would probably have more obstacles moving forward beyond what the opposition has said. So I definitely agree with Member Bob and Member Marco.
Yeah, thank you. Not to repeat what my fellow members are saying, though, too, but I support the refusal in that it just seems to be, like, I appreciate the applicant trying to add more units, but just seems to be a bit too much and doesn't quite fit. It's a challenging lot, and there's a lot of things at play here. Tried to work with city staff on multiple occasions, and there just seems to be, pieces that are missing. It just doesn't quite seem to fit. So that's why I'm in support of the refusal, and I do hear and appreciate all the comments from the neighbors. There are a lot of them. Every single time this has been on the agenda, you've been here and had your voices heard, or even sent your letters in. So Thank you. If I'm seeing no further discussion or debate on this, I will call for the vote, which is the refusal of this application. All those in favor of the refusal? That's unanimous, so that's carried. Thank you. Next, moving along to new business, we have A 2025-055, 89 Matthews Street. So I can kindly invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application and the staff recommendation, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is a minor variance application for 89 Matthew Street. It's a variance to permit an additional dwelling unit detached in the rear yard to have an area of 93 square meters instead of the maximum permitted 80 square meters. Staff have reviewed the application in light of the 4 tests of the Planning Act, finds that it meets all 4, and is recommending approval.
Thank you for that. If I can invite the agent or the applicant to come forward to the microphone, please. If you can introduce yourself and let us know if you've reviewed the report and if you're in support of it. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Kevin Boland. I'm the authorized agent for this application. I have reviewed the report and I'm in support of it.
Thank you for that. Are there any parties in opposition who'd like to make oral submissions? Seeing none. I don't assume you have any further comments on this if you're in support.
No, no further comments.
Excellent. Committee members, any questions for the agent, the applicant? No. Any questions for city staff? None? I'll wait for a motion. Member Marco?
I will move the staff recommendation to approve.
Okay, thank you. Need a seconder? All right, we have a seconder to my left here. So I'll open the floor up for debate. Member Bob.
Very briefly, Mr. Chair. This is a 15% increase, although the number 15% is a little large. I still think it meets the 4 tests of the planning as recommended by staff, so I'm in support of this application.
Yeah, I share your thoughts though too. When I saw it, it seemed a lot bigger than we typically see though too, as far as being like a truly like minor variance. But taking a close look at the lot and how things are there and seeing no opposition, it seemed like it works in comparison to some of the places that are less space. So as a result, I'm okay with it. It seemed like a good application and package to me, so I'm in support. Any other further comments or debate? If I'm seeing none, then I will call for the vote, which is to approve. All those in favor? Carried. Unanimous. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next, we have A 2025-057, 386 Wake Robin Crescent. If I can please invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application and the staff recommendation, please.
Thank you, Chair. This is a minor variance application for 386 Wake Robin Crescent. There are a number of minor variances before you this morning. They are to facilitate a second-story addition to an existing detached garage, and this would ultimately allow the detached garage to convert into an additional dwelling unit detached. The committee, some of you may remember, the application was before you in November 2024. The relief that was requested at the time was to permit a maximum building height to the other side of the fascia of 4 meters instead of the maximum permitted 3 meters, and to permit a building height of 6.3 meters instead of 5.5. The additional height was just to the detached garage. There were no plans for the ADU. However, staff did bring concern to the committee that there appeared to be human habitation occurring or would occur in the detached garage, and recommended refusal of the variance for the building height. Subsequent to the committee's decision, the applicant did appeal the application to the Ontario Land Tribunal. There is a hearing scheduled for August of this year. We did advise the applicant that if there are plans for an additional dwelling unit detached, the appropriate variances should be requested. So that is why the application is before you this morning, to request the necessary variances to do what they would like to do and convert this detached garage into an additional dwelling unit detached. Staff have reviewed the variances in light of the 4 tests of the Planning Act. We do find that they meet all 4 tests, subject to some conditions, which are necessary to ensure that the driveway would not be parked upon, as it's required as an emergency access for that additional dwelling unit in the backyard. So there will be conditions to require no parking signs and clauses on in agreements of purchase and sale for the property or lease of the additional dwelling unit detached, that there shall be no parking on that driveway, and that the only parking space is at the rear of the property, just in front of the detached ADU. So again, staff have reviewed the variances in light of the 4 tests, recommend refusal subject to the conditions before you this morning.
Sorry, you recommended refusal?
Sorry, we recommended refusal of the variance application in November. This morning, we were recommending approval.
Approval, okay.
Subject to the conditions. I'm sorry if I said refusal.
Thank you. Just wanted to
Definitely
clarify.
approval.
Yeah, if I can invite the agent and the applicant to introduce themselves, please, and please let me know if you've reviewed the staff report and whether you're in favor of the staff recommendation. Thank you.
Good morning, committee members. My name is Matthew Rebo of Perspective Views at 5359 Timberlea Boulevard, Mississauga. I'm the agent representing the owners at 386 Wake Robin Crescent, as I did previously in November. We were previously applied for minor variance file A 2024-090 to convert the existing detached garage to an additional dwelling unit ADU, but we were convinced by planning staff to change requested variances to convert the garage to additional dwelling recreational space, and we would get planning staff support. We worked through several revisions with planning staff. They were in support of our application, only to find out the planning staff report did not support our proposal. The application was heard in November 2024, and the committee members denied the application without fully discussing the details of the application or giving us an opportunity to defer the application during the meeting. We then appealed the decision at the OLT and have since worked with planning staff again to gain their support for the application as originally desired to convert the detached garage into an ADU. 20 neighbors are in support of the conversion as well. We have read the conditions and have only one concern, that is that we still need to obtain building permits after approval of the COA application, and there might not be enough time to find a contractor able to winterize the building prior to winter months. And if the construction were to start in the spring, a deadline of June might be too soon. Respectfully, we request that the due date be extended to at least December 2026. The owners intended on their parents moving into the proposed ADU, making this a multi-generational property. The owner and his family are also very involved in the community. I already mentioned the 20 neighbors. This highlights an overwhelming support from the neighborhood. Planning staff has done an amazing job at stating the official planning policies and how our application meets the intent to allow development such as this proposed conversion. Although we were asking for a few variances, some of which are already considered legal due to existing easements, as mentioned in the planning staff report, we certainly meet the intent of the zoning bylaws. We are confident, as well as the planning staff, that the requested variances are very reasonable, minor in nature, and again meet all 4 tests of the Planning Act. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Are there any parties in opposition? Seeing none. Members of the committee, do you have any questions for the agent?
I don't think I got the part that you were talking about the building permit timeline, and you're saying that you're requesting for the building permit to be bypassed and only go through committee. Okay, I just want to kind of go back to that. So you're going a little bit too fast.
Through you, Chair, one of the conditions that were recommended was that we complete the work by June 2026. That only gives us a year from today. And all I'm saying is, by the time we secure a contractor, obtain permits, and start the work, it might not be until the spring. And so I think allowing a little bit more time for the project to be completed is more reasonable. So that was it. It was just one of the conditions. You can either ignore the condition, amend the condition. I'm just simply stating that it might be a little tight to complete I believe the way that the condition is worded, it mainly has to do with the parking. So it wasn't fully described, but I believe the intent was by the time we gain occupancy for the new ADU, they don't want anybody parking in the garage, in the driveway, because that will clearly be stated with signage, et cetera, and statements on title, I believe. So we don't have any issues with the conditions, just number 2 in the way that it's worded. I believe it's a little short in timeframe.
Yeah, so just to clarify, condition 2 just says the owner shall complete the work by June 17th, 2026. So what would you be looking for? Like, how much more time would you need?
Either a full calendar year, but I would say at the very least December 2026.
Thank you. Any more questions? Member Bob?
Yes, to the applicant, just a quick one. I'm assuming that if this application is approved today, you're going to be withdrawing your appeal to the OLT?
Yes, that was the deal we made.
Good. Okay, thanks for clearing that up. Mr. Chair, I am really kind of in support of this. I think ADUs are a thing of the future. And I can understand the applicant's concern about getting qualified contractors to get the work done by June of next year. Possibly could be done, but I would be in support of extending that to December of 2026.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, yeah, I'd just like to provide some clarification on the conditions. So the conditions need to be satisfied for the variances to come into effect. So by giving until December of next year, the applicant won't be able to obtain a building permit if the variances can't come into effect. So I think we need to rework the condition that the applicant enter into an agreement to do the work in number 1 as well, and that work be completed by December. I want the conditions to be able to come into effect for the building permit issuance, and that won't happen if we give them till December 2026 to satisfy the conditions. So I'd like to amend the conditions, particularly condition number 1, that also be included into an agreement.
Mr. Chair, to staff, you're wonderful to have around, pointing out these little minor variations that need to be accomplished to get this paperwork through in a timely manner. So I'm full support of the amended conditions. So that's just my comment.
Agent, please.
Chair,
Matthew?
again, maybe it's just a point of clarification. I don't have an issue with the first one, but is it being suggested that the driveway cannot be used then during construction if we have to comply before issuance of building permit?
We will reword the condition to make sure that that would happen at occupancy. So I will suggest and work with clerks to modify the conditions so that the condition can be satisfied by an agreement and the timing of the construction, occupancy, and works will be contained in that agreement. Okay?
Again, through you, Chair, I'm satisfied with that agreement as well.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions for the agent? Questions for city staff? I think I do. This one's a bit of a tougher one for me just because of the nature of how unique this property is with 0 lot line and the garage being in the back and the garage being right on top of the property line. I do appreciate, last, we saw earlier in our agenda, there's a lot of people in opposition. It's nice seeing that people are in support of it, but it does seem very odd to me. And even like our ADUs are meant to be 1 level. This seems to be 2 and very, not really minor at all. Is this something that's common during the building permit process to have 2-level ADUs and people have living space above garages? I just worry that we're setting a precedent here that isn't in fact minor and doesn't really quite fit well, just given the nature of the lot. Look, I have a lot of concern with this application, even though the neighbors seem to be okay with it.
Yes, those are great questions. This development and subdivision was developed under 85-1, which permitted zero lot line development with easements, maintenance easements. And so the garage at the back was permitted to be 0 meters. I think it's 0.1 or 2 meters from the lot line, but it does have that maintenance easement on the side of the garage, which would allow maintenance of that structure. The second story is proposed to be set back from the property line, so it will meet the I believe it's, just confirm that for you, 0.9 meters. So it will meet the setback for the ADU that's in the zoning bylaw. So the second story they're proposing will meet the 0.9 meters, and the first story is existing, and it was permitted zero lot line with the maintenance easement, which does exist there. The houses in the neighborhood as well, a lot of them are two-story homes or back splits with 0 meters and a maintenance easement. So it's a pattern of development in the area that is consistent, and this ADU would meet that same pattern of development.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, it just seems odd. I know I can appreciate how they're going to do a flat roof, but to have like a 2-story garage in the back just seems like a lot. And I do see like the tiered effect to give some separation from the neighbor. But typically, if someone's going to apply for an ADU, it can't be 2 stories though, correct? This is just allowed because it is a garage?
No, our zoning bylaw does permit a 2-story ADU where the principal dwelling is 9.1 meters. So a 2-story ADU is a common form of development in neighborhoods where the principal dwelling is of a certain height. We did make that amendment to our zoning bylaw a year or so ago, so just to allow the 4 units to happen on property, so 2 in the principal and possibly 2 in a detached ADU. So it's a fairly new zoning provision to allow a 2-story ADU, but it does happen, and this one would be permitted as it met. The second story is going to meet the setbacks.
Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate it. Any more questions for staff or Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick clarification. When an ADU is built on top of a garage, the garage is no longer a garage.
Yes, I believe the applicant has intent to use the entirety of the 2-story for living space. I think there's some storage possibly proposed on the second story, but I'll let the applicant clarify the entire use of the detached ADU.
Thank you, through your chair. So it doesn't have to be converted to garage, but I do believe the intent of the bylaw would be to convert the use from a garage to an ADU. We've done several other applications where the garage remains, and maybe we put a staircase to lead up to the second floor where the unit is. In this case, we're converting the entire space from a garage to livable space, including the second story. And as planning staff has suggested, we've tried to respect the bylaws as much as possible.
Thank you. If there's no further questions, I'll look for a motion, please. Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. All my questions have been answered. I think that it's a good workaround, and I'm going to move that this be approved as per revised by city staff. So there's my motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Before I look for a seconder, does that give you guys enough flexibility in terms of what you're looking to do, that motion?
Yes, it would be subject to the following conditions. I would just say that the conditions 1 to 3 be included into an agreement registered on title. So condition 1 wasn't included in the agreement. I just want to be clear that all 3 conditions would be in an agreement, and we will modify the wording of that to ensure that the variances come into effect and the works are done in an appropriate timeline.
Okay, so Member Bob, does your motion include that then? I assume so.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Seconder? Member Marco, I'll open the floor up for debate. I'll go. I still don't like this at all. I just appreciate the applicant working with city staff to find a compromise and working on this. I do understand that it's a unique situation as far as garage in the back and 0 lot line, but I really don't like this. But I'd rather people work together than go through other ways. So I'm willing to support that. And again, if the neighbors are happy and everyone's okay with it, why should I be against it? So I just don't like it at all, but I'm willing to help this move along. So that's where I feel on this. Anyone else want to speak on it, or call for the vote? I'll call for the vote. So all those in favor to approve with those friendly amendments? Unanimous, so carried. Good luck.
Thank you, committee members. Have a great day.
Next on our agenda, we have A 2025-058, 175 Hoffman Street. So if I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application, as well as the staff recommendation.
Thank you, Chair. This is a minor variance application for 175 Hoffman Street. It is a minor variance to permit balconies to project 1.5 meters as they have columns supported by the ground, and the bylaw doesn't permit balconies to project where they are supported by the ground. So the variance is to facilitate those balconies. Staff have reviewed the variance in light of the 4 tests of the Planning Act, finds that it meets all 4. Staff are recommending that the variance be approved subject to a condition that the owner update the site plan application for the balconies. And so once that's done, the variance would come into effect and allow that to take place. Again, staff is recommending approval, meets the 4 tests, subject to the condition.
Thank you for that. If I can ask the agent applicant to come forward, you're already there. If you can just introduce yourself and then say if you've read the report and if you're in support of it. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Richard D'Alessandro. I'm an associate at Neo Architecture. I'm the agent for the applicant. I have read the report by staff and am in full support of it.
Yeah, thank you for that. Anyone in opposition to this application? Seeing none. Yeah, if you have no further comments, I doubt it. Any questions for the agent here? Marco?
Yeah, just a quick one. It looks like there are doors already installed on the back. I'm just curious why you've split adding the balconies to a separate stage. I'm just curious.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the building has doors on that side, if those are the ones you mean, to facilitate existing balconies that were there once upon a time. They were in major disrepair. They had to be removed, and we're proposing to put back that amenity properly.
Thank you.
Cool. Any more questions? Any questions for city staff from members of the committee? Seeing none, I'll wait for a motion then. Member Maria?
I set a motion forth to approve the staff recommendation.
Thank you. A seconder? Member Marco, open the floor up for debate. Yeah, thrilled you're doing this. It will improve the building. So it looks nice. It's not easy to do when you have a building like this. So when no one has any other comments, I'm willing to call for the vote, which is to approve. All those in favor? Unanimous. Carried. Good luck.
Thank you, committee members.
Next on our agenda, we have A 2025-059, 22 Parkland Street. If I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application, as well as the staff recommendation, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is a minor variance application for 22 Parkland Street, requesting relief from special regulation provisions 605R to permit a rear yard setback of 2.6 meters instead of the minimum required 7 meters. Staff have reviewed the variances in light of the variance in light of the 4 tests of the Planning Act, finds it does meet all 4 tests and is recommending approval. The lot is unique in shape. It's a pie-shaped lot. There's lots of amenity space still available in the rear yard in terms of green space. So again, staff are recommending approval of the minor variance.
Thank you so much. If I can invite the agent applicant to introduce yourself, if you've read the report and if you're in support of it. Thank you.
Greeting committee members, my name is Manjinder Kaur and I'm the agent for 22 Parkland Street. I have read the staff report and I'm in full support of it.
Thank you. Anyone in opposition in the gallery who wants to speak on this? Seeing none. Any questions for the agent applicant? Seeing none, any questions for city staff? I have a question here regarding, we always kind of like look at these properties though too. It's a bit of an interesting one as far as shape and size, but with the front lawn just seems to be all concrete. How does someone get away with that in other instances or not? Is it just because of the unique shape of the property? Just seems like the front's all concrete there. Just curious on that regard.
Yes, so the driveway needs to be of a distinguishable material or a separation. There is a strip in the driveway which does separate the driveway from the remainder of the walk. It's difficult to tell. I did not do the site visit myself, but I am anticipating that the it's walkway, patio in the front versus driveway by that strip that's located in the center of the property.
Okay, so it could be hardscaped, it just has to be different, you just can't put a car there, correct?
That is correct. It cannot be used for parking.
Thank you. I'll wait for a motion if there's no further questions. Member Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a comment. We all around here know that trying to deal with a pie-shaped lot brings problems and challenges with it. I think the addition of a sunroom is going to be a great benefit to the property. So without further ado, Mr. Chair, I will move that this application be approved with the one condition.
Thank you for that. So got the motion approved. Seconder? Member Marco? Cool. So we have first and a second. Floor is open for debate. If I'm not seeing any debate, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? 4, carried. Good luck.
Thank you, committee members.
Yeah, next we have B, 2025-018, 73 Second Avenue. So if I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application and the staff recommendation, please.
Thank you, Chair. This is a consent application for 73 Second Avenue. The intent is to demolish the existing dwelling on the property and to construct a new dwelling in its place, so 2 new dwellings in its place, 2 new duplex dwellings. The committee originally heard this application April 18, 2023. There are 2 years to fulfill the conditions of the consent. However, the applicant was not able to fulfill the conditions within that 2-year timeframe, so the consent lapsed, and the applicant has had to reapply for the same consent. So staff have reviewed the application for consent in light of provincial, regional, and city policies, finds that it meets all of those, and is recommending approval to conditions.
Thank you for that. If I can have the agent of the applicant to introduce themselves, if you've read the staff report and if you're in support.
Good morning. My name is Wizi Zhang, the owner of the property. I read the report and I'm fully support.
Thank you. Anyone in the gallery here in opposition? Seeing none. Any questions for the owner? None? Any questions for city staff?
Through the chair, if you would review your agenda package, the region provided comments a bit late. However, they were requesting a condition be included for all consent applications for the consent review fee. So moving forward, if the committee is okay with it, can you just include that amendment in your motions?
Okay. Is that, so it's not in our agenda? I'm not.
So in your agenda package, typically we have the comments from the public agencies, and that includes the region as well. Their comments were provided a bit late, so it wasn't included in the staff report in the conditions that they were requesting the consent review fee be included as a condition of approval. So for all consent applications moving forward, if the committee could please include that in their motions for the consent review fee to be included as a condition.
Okay, thank you for that. And the owner, I assume you're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for that, Marilyn. Appreciate the heads up. Yeah, I will look for a motion. Member Marco?
I will move the staff recommendation to approve as amended.
Excellent. Seconder? Member Maria? Excellent. Floor is open for debate. no debate, I'll call for the vote, which is to approve as amended. All in favor? Unanimous, carried. Good luck.
Thank you.
And next up, we have B 2025-019, B 2025-020, and then A 25-060 and A 2025-061. 181 Borden Avenue North. If I can invite the planning coordinator to introduce the application as well as a staff recommendation, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. There are 4 applications for 181 Borden Avenue North before you this morning, 2 applications for minor variance and 2 applications for consent. The 2 applications for variance are for the proposed severed parcel and the proposed retained parcel, similar variances to permit a balcony with columns supported by the ground to project 1.5 meters where the bylaw does not permit front balconies to project, and to permit a driveway width of 8.7 meters in the rear instead of the maximum permitted 8 meters. Again, the variances are similar, so it allows the balcony at the front and a shared driveway and parking area at the rear. Staff have reviewed the variances in light of the 4 tests of the Planning Act, finds that it meets all 4, and is recommending approval of both of those applications. The consent application, the first one is to create the proposed severed parcel as well as a shared easement, and the second consent application is to create the easement on the retained parcel of land. Staff have reviewed the applications in light of provincial, regional, and city policies and finds that it meets all those policies, and is recommending approval subject to conditions. The applications will facilitate the demolition of the existing dwelling, and then the construction of 2 new single detached dwellings with 3 attached ADUs, so 4 units on each side, and then parking at the rear. So again, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. The applications meet the 4 tests and the policies.
Thank you so much. If I can confirm the agent applicant, if they reviewed the staff report and whether they're in support of it, and introduce yourself, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Grant Evely on behalf of Urban Initiatives, a division of Polo Corp Inc. I've had an opportunity to review the staff report regarding 181 Borden Avenue North, and we are in full support of staff's recommendations. I'm also here with the owner of the property today, and I'm welcoming any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. Anyone in the gallery in opposition? Seeing none. Any questions for the agent? Seeing none. Any questions for city staff? Seeing no questions, I'll then look for a motion. Bob.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. I think this is a fairly clever solution to an interesting challenge. I think it's going to turn out to be great. There's no opposition to it. The report is fine, so I'm going to move that this be approved as per the staff report, or all of these be approved.
Yes, and just further to Secretary Treasurer's recommendation to include the consent review fee for the region in the consent application. Yes.
So excellent. We have that motion. Seconder, Maria. I'll open the floor up for debate. Yeah, I think it's a creative solution here, so I'm in support of it. And if no one is against it, it seems like it works. Member Marco.
Yeah, it's nice to see that they're trying to get out ahead of some of the challenges we've seen with similar typologies, similar applications.
Excellent, thank you. So if no further debate or comments, I will call for the vote. All those in favor to approve with the slight little amendment there for the fee. All those in favor? Unanimous, carried, good luck. Well, I think that's everything on our agenda. I'll just look for a motion to adjourn. My favorite motions. Member Maria, way to go. All right, Member Marco, motion to adjourn. All in favor? Carried.